A jeweler's case divides a nation, and now the world. A criminal case from a small town in northern Italy has grown into an international controversy, drawing commentary from public figures far beyond the country's borders and reopening one of the most sensitive debates in Italian law. At the center of it is Mario Roggero, a 72-year-old jeweler from Grinzane Cavour, a small municipality in the province of Cuneo, Piedmont, known mainly for its castle and its vineyards until his name became a fixture of national news. The facts of the case date back several years. During a robbery at his jewelry shop, 3 assailants attacked Roggero and members of his family, threatening them and causing considerable panic in what should have been an ordinary afternoon at work. As the robbers fled the scene, Roggero, who had access to a firearm, pursued them and opened fire, killing 2 of the 3 and wounding the 3rd. What followed was a long and complicated legal process that worked its way through multiple levels of the Italian judicial system, from the first trial court to the Court of Appeal, and finally to the Court of Cassation, Italy's highest court for matters of law. Earlier this month, the Cassation issued its definitive ruling, upholding a sentence of 14 years and 9 months in prison. Roggero has since turned himself in and is currently held at Bollate Prison, near Milan, an institution often described as a model of the rehabilitation-focused approach that the Italian penitentiary system, at least on paper, aspires to. The ruling reignited a debate that has simmered in Italy for years: where exactly does the law draw the line between legitimate self-defense and an excessive, disproportionate use of force? Under Italian law, self-defense is only recognized when the response is judged proportionate to the threat and occurs during the act of aggression itself, while the danger is still current. Prosecutors in the Roggero case argued that by the time he fired his weapon, the robbers were already running away, which meant, in strict legal terms, that the threat to his life and to his family had already passed. From a purely technical standpoint, the courts found, this shifted the episode from the realm of self-defense into that of an unlawful use of lethal force. That legal distinction, however precise on paper, has done remarkably little to settle public opinion, and the reaction has split largely along political lines. Roggero's supporters argue that a shop owner who has just been violently attacked, with his family present and his own life apparently in danger, cannot reasonably be expected to make split-second, textbook-perfect judgments about the exact legal boundary of imminent danger. They frame the case as an example of a justice system that protects criminals more effectively than it protects victims, and they point to Roggero's age, his previously clean record, and his role as a small business owner as reasons to treat the case with leniency. Many members of Italy's governing coalition have publicly sided with him. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni broke her long silence on the matter to voice support for a pardon, describing Roggero as a victim of circumstance rather than a criminal. Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini went further, visiting Roggero in prison on more than one occasion and launching a public campaign urging President of the Republic Sergio Mattarella, the only figure with the constitutional power to grant clemency, to do so. Roggero's wife has formally submitted a request for a pardon on his behalf, along with a separate petition asking that the execution of his sentence be deferred while that request is considered. Some lawmakers from the majority have gone even further, proposing amendments to the self-defense statute itself, so that future cases would be judged under looser criteria. It was at this point that the case crossed into international headlines. Elon Musk, the entrepreneur behind Tesla, SpaceX, and the social media platform X, weighed in after a user drew a connection between the case and the broader theme of self-defense laws in Europe, suggesting that citizens on the continent are effectively punished for protecting their own families. Musk responded that the sentence was insane, adding that in his opinion it was the judge and the prosecutor who deserved to be punished, not Roggero. The comment was quickly amplified by Andrea Strappa, who is often described as Musk's contact and informal representative in Italy, under the message Elon Musk stands with Mario Roggero. Within hours, the remark had been picked up by Italian and international outlets alike, turning a domestic legal dispute into a talking point discussed well beyond Italy's borders. Not everyone welcomed the intervention, and the backlash was swift. Critics, particularly from opposition parties such as the Democratic Party, accused Musk of interfering in the judicial affairs of a sovereign European democracy without a full understanding of Italian law or of the specific facts established at trial. Several commentators noted that this was not the first time Musk had criticized Italian magistrates, recalling an earlier episode in which he had objected to a court's refusal to validate the detention of a group of migrants held in Albania. For these critics, the pattern raises a broader concern, that a private individual with an enormous public platform can shape, or distort, the public conversation around a national legal case simply by posting a few lines on his own social media platform. Legal scholars have added a more technical note of caution, warning against treating a single, emotionally charged case as sufficient grounds for rewriting self-defense legislation. Any new law drafted in the heat of public outrage, they argue, risks being poorly calibrated, and could ultimately clash with constitutional principles regarding the proportionality of punishment and the equal application of the law. For now, the case remains unresolved on every front. A decision on the pardon request rests entirely with the President of the Republic, who has given no indication of when, or whether, he will act. Lawmakers, meanwhile, continue to debate whether Italy's self-defense statutes genuinely need reform, or whether doing so under present circumstances would amount to legislating around a single verdict rather than addressing a broader pattern. What began as a tragic and violent incident in a small Piedmontese town has become a touchstone for a much larger argument, one that stretches from the corridors of the Court of Cassation to the social media feed of one of the world's richest men, about justice, proportionality, and the right to protect oneself and one's family.